Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology.
Hello all, I am Dr. Prayla Shyry, Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. Today we are going to see about the important and quite interesting topic OSI Security Architecture. After the emergence of the networks and when the systems or when the organizations started their systems to be connected in the network, there arise a significant challenge in the area of security where the systems are being connected. So, the organizations whose systems are connected, they started developing their own standards, and of course, this could never be called as a universal standard. So, the International Telecommunication Union have started and framed the OSI security architecture, keeping in mind the attack services and mechanisms. So, what is the security attack? So, this security architecture, as you can see in the diagram, this is mainly focusing the security attacks, the security mechanisms, and the services. So before developing the standards, they have analyzed and assessed the possible attacks of the computers or attacks, possible attacks that could happen for each and every system in the organization. Okay, so they have developed some standards for this security. Okay, and evaluated and chose various security products and policies. So we are going to see in detail one by one. First, the security attacks. What is a security attack? Any action that compromises the security of information owned by an organization is called as the security attack. Maybe any action, maybe they have tried to harm a system, they have tried to steal an information from the system. These are all called as some of the security attacks. Okay, and this attack can be done only within the premises. It's not possible that only within the premises. This could also be done outside the premises also, and it also can be done as an individual or even as a group. Now, coming to the types of security attacks, there are two types of security attacks. One is called as the active attack, another one is called as the passive attacks. So this is active attacks. As the name implies, we can say that active attacks are nothing but it will do some modification in the data stream. Okay, so that is actually called as the active attack. So what do you think that if we do some modification in the data stream, it is easy to attack. We can easily understand that there is an attack has happened. Okay, now there are some types of the active attacks we will see in this one by one. Masquerading, replay, modification of messages, and denial of service. So keeping in mind, first one, masquerading. What is masquerading? Masquerading means it is nothing but one entity pretends to act like another entity, or I can say that impersonating, a person acting like another one person. So a person or a unauthorized person acting like a legitimate user, or an unauthorized as a person acting like a authorized person is nothing but the masquerading. Okay, so this masquerading attack usually includes one of the form of active attack. So I could give you a simple example, like I have given Raju masqueraded as doctor. He is not actually a doctor, he is masquerading or acting like a doctor and has fooled everyone. So this is one of the example for the masquerading. The second one is called as the replay attack, or I can even say it is the playback attack. So what is replay attack? User A is sending a message to user B, and attacker or the hacker will steal some information and he will use it in the recent or in the near future when he needs it. Okay, so that is called as the replay attack. So you can see the diagram, the user A is there, user is there, he is sending in original information to the server. So I could give you a best example where we are now ordering an online pizza or a burger. So what we will try to do, we will just after ordering, we will just make a payment. So that payment will directly go to a payment gateway where our bank is. Okay, so when we go to the payment gateway, we used to give our banking credentials. So in this time, you can see a person called hacker, he used to steal the banking credentials of us, and he will never use it now. He tries to intercept the message or overhear the message, get the banking credentials, and later on he may use it for the near future. So this is called as the playback attack, or I can say call it as called as the replay attack. So the person who is intercepting the message is called as the man in the middle attack. You can see that in the diagram I have given MITM replay attack, man in the middle attack. So the next type of active attack is modification of messages. So here the entire message is not been modified. If user A is sending a message to user B, the entire message is not been going to be modified. Only a small portion of the message is been modified. You can see some portion of a legitimate message. What do you mean by legitimate? The original, the authorized message is altered so that messages can be delayed or reordered. You can see the example, allow Bob to read confidential file X. That is the original message. Maybe the person Bob is being given the rights to read or access only the file called X. But here when the hacked message, if I have overhear the message and I have given the credential, I have modified only small message. As a hacker, the hacker is going to modify only a small portion. What is the modified message? File Y. So allow Bob to read confidential file Y, where the file Y is not been allowed or accessed, has not been given access rights to the Bob, but this has been changed. This is called as the third modification of messages active attack. Now coming to the fourth one, denial of service attack. So this denial of service attack, it will prevent the legitimate users from accessing the computer or from accessing the entire website. Okay, so another form of service is nothing but disruption of an entire network, either by disabling the network or by overloading it with messages. What do you mean by overloading it with the messages? Flooding the network. Okay, so this flooding the network can be done by intentional or can be unintentional also. Maybe I can give you a best example. If it is unintentional, students will try to view the results through a particular website. Okay, so what will happen? So many students are trying to access the same website at the same time. So it maybe the website may go down or it may go down for a particular fraction of second. So this is called as an unintentional denials of service attacks. Okay, maybe I will give you another one example which could happen, intentional denial of service attack. Imagine in a scenario where maybe a Christmas offer or a Deepavali offer, two online markets are selling some products. Okay, so two organizations are there, they are actually the competitors. So what will happen? One of there is a chance that one organization may try to down the website of the other organization. Why they are doing? They just want to tarnish the reputation of the other organization, and eventually they can deviate the attention of the customers also. So this is called as the denial of service attack. So I have given examples. Black Friday sales, when thousands of users are trying for a bargain, this may cause a denial of service because they are trying for the same website at the same time. Coming to the passive attacks. Okay, so as the name suggests, passive attack means it will never do any modification. So active attacks will do some modification, wherein we can say that since there is a modification, we can easily detect it. But in the case of the passive attacks, there is no modification, so it is very hard to detect it. So this could be the difference between the active as well as the passive attacks also. So the goal of the opponent is to obtain information that is being transmitted. Okay, he wants to get the information. He will never show any indication that the information is being hacked by the hacker. Okay, so the two types of the passive attacks is release of message contents. So what is the release of message contents? Maybe we can take an example of a telephone conversation. We are trying to talk to another person, both of us are talking, and someone is overhearing the message. We do not understand, or we could not understand or detect that whether the third person is also hearing the message, because the data stream is not been modified. We are just the data has been transmitted between only two persons, and it has not been modified because it is only overheard by the third party. So the next one is the traffic analysis. Traffic analysis means actually even if the encrypted message is being sent from user A to user B. Actually, we all know that if a message is being encrypted, it will be in a meaningless form. Okay, even if it is an encrypted message, user A is sending a message to user B. So I, being a hacker, what I will try to do, I will sit and analyze the traffic. What could be the traffic? from where the person is sending, and what is the location of this user A, what is the location of the user B, okay, and what is the frequency of the message, how long they are sending messages, in what time they are sending the message, what is the length of the message, what is the nature of the message. As after analyzing such parameters, I, being a well-versed hacker, I can understand what could be the nature of the message, or I can guess what is the nature of the message. So this is called as the traffic analysis. So far we have studied about the security attacks, types of security attacks. Coming to the next one, the difference between the active as well as the passive attack. So modification in information takes place, that is active attack. So what is the case of the passive attack? There could be never any modification of information. And here danger to integrity as well as availability. We all know that what is the integrity. Integrity means what is the, the data has not been tampered, that is called as the integrity. So this if there is an active attack, it will definitely show the integration of the data, okay, it will definitely affect the integration of the data because it has been tampered, okay. So here in the case of passive attack, danger to confidentiality. What could be the confidentiality actually? So whether the data has been transmitted to the correct person, exact person, okay. So now the third difference is the easy to detect, because as it has been modified, it is easy to detect. In the case of the passive attack, it is not modified, so it is not very easy to detect the attacks. So the duration of active attack is short, and whereas the passive attack will be in a long run only, because where they are not showing any indication, we cannot easily detect it. So they keep on overhearing the messages, okay. And the fifth point is prevention possibility of active attack is high, because how could we prevent? Because we have analyzed so many attacks, active attacks. We know that how the messages have been modified, how it has been tampered. So we can give some prevention also. But in the case of the passive attacks, it is very silent, okay. The overhearing is also silent, so we cannot prevent the possibility of passive attacks. Now coming to the next thing, that is security services. So we have seen security attacks, the second one is the security services. So first point here is the authentication. What could be the authentication? What is authentication? When we are giving an information, when we are sharing an information, whether the information is from exact source, whether the information is coming from the exact source. That's what I have given in blue color. So the authentication service is to assure the recipient that the message is from the source that it claims to be from. I am requesting a message to a sender, whether the message is from the exact source where I have requested, to which I have requested, is nothing but the authentication. Here comes two flavors of authentication. One is peer entity authentication, another one is the data origin authentication. So what is peer entity authentication? It is nothing but it provides the corroboration of the identity of peer entity in an association. It means that with strong evidence, corroboration means with strong evidence, it will say that this is coming from the particular source only. So that is nothing but our peer entity authentication. Coming to the data origin authentication, it means that it provides the corroboration of the source for a data unit. Okay, it is the correct data which you have requested. That is nothing but the data origin authentication. This is the correct data from the correct source which you have requested. That is nothing but the authentication. Coming to the next one, that is nothing but access control. So we all know that we have some access control. All the privileges will never be given to all the customers or all the worker or the employees. Some privileges will be given. A file can be read only by A file can be read and appended or accessed, or can be returned by B. Likewise, some access rights will be given to the persons, to the workers, depends upon the privileges. So data confidentiality, it is nothing but the protection of data from the passive attacks, mainly from the passive attacks, as we have seen in the difference also. Passive attack will give a danger to the confidentiality. So this is nothing but it is the protection of transmitted data from the passive attacks. Coming to integrity, integrity means if we have an organization, our organization's data, the quite confidential data is there. We are not tampering the data, we are not modifying the data, the exact data is there without any issues. Okay, so that is nothing but the data integrity. That's what I have given as a second point in the data integrity, preserving the integrity of the company's data in a constant process. Now coming to the non-repudiations. Okay, So non-deviation means neither the sender nor the receiver will deny a transmitted messages. Okay, so when a message is being sent, the receiver can prove that the sender in fact sent the message. The alleged sender in fact sent the message. He has only sent the message, the receiver can say. Also, when the receiver has received, the sender can say that the receiver has received the message. Both the legitimate users should have a nice coordination and cooperation in such a way that they should not deny each other. Sender has to say that receiver has received, and receiver has to say that sender has only sent the message. So this is nothing but the non-repudiation. Coming to the mechanisms, security mechanism. So we have studied security attacks, security services, and the third one is nothing but the security mechanisms. Here we are having two flavors. One is specific security mechanisms and the another one is the pervasive security mechanisms. Coming to the specific security mechanisms, one is encipherment. What is encipherment? It is nothing but the other form, another name for encryption. What is encryption? Converting the original message into a unmeaningful form, or I can say that converting the plain text into a ciphertext. So we know all methods are there, so many methods, DETs are there, RSA there, so AES there, so many encryption algorithms are there to convert the original message into a ciphertext messages. Okay, so this is one of the specific security message. Why we need it? Because when I am sending a message to one of my legitimate user, the hacker who is trying to intercept the message or steal the information, even he has stealed, he should not understand the message. So that only I am encrypting the message in a form that even he is getting the message, he should not understand what it is. So that is called as the encipherment. Coming to the digital signature. So this is purely, why we are using a digital signature? This is purely for authentication. Okay. So when I am sending a message, you can see the diagram. So unsigned document, we are applying a digital signature software, becomes a signed document. So what is it actually? I am the one who is authenticating this student. Maybe we are giving an LOR to the students. So what is that? What does it mean? We are applying through, we are giving a digital signature. What is the importance of that? With timestamp and with designation with my own digital signature, I am sending that I am recommending, strongly recommending this student as my student. Okay, so this is nothing but the digital signatures. That's what it is given. Data appended to or a cryptographic transformation, data unit allows the recipient of data unit to prove the source and integrity of data unit and protect against forgery. Okay, so that last word is very important, to prove the source and integrity of data unit and protect against forgery. Next, the last type of the security mechanism is pervasive security mechanisms. So first one is authentication exchange. So authentication exchange means if I am sending a message, sending a virtual message which is authenticated to a recipient. What the receiver has to do? He has to do some acknowledge to me that whether that message has been received. So this is a two-way handshaking model. So we have so many two-way handshaking protocols also, right? So this mechanism intended to ensure the identity of an entity by means of information exchange. I have sent a message, I have sent an authenticated message, the receiver will say that I have received your authenticated message. So both of us will have a nice coordination in sending the messages. The next one is the traffic padding. Okay, so what is actually traffic padding is nothing but if I send a message to a receiver, when the interceptor tries to steal the information, he cannot understand because I'll try to add some raw bit or false streams into the original message. If I am sending hello, how are you? Instead of that, in between H and E, hello, HELLO, I will try to insert some false streams. So those false streams will be generated with the help of some algorithms. Okay, so what could be the final outcome? The interceptor cannot understand the message even though he has overheard the message. Now routing control. So enable selection of particular physically secure routes. Suppose if a route or if a path has been hacked by a hacker, so what could I do? I have to send a message to the receiver on time. Okay, so what I have to do, even if that path between the user as well as A as well as the user B is being down due to some reasons, or path outages are there, what could I do? I have to reroute the packet in a different route so that my packet has reached to the destination on time. So this in this place we need to have some fast resiliency. Resiliency is nothing but the fast recovery. Detect what is the path outages, immediately we have to reroute the packet to the destination on time. So that is nothing but the routing control. And the last one is the notarization. Okay, so we are sending the packets or the data streams from one place to another, from one legitimate user to another legitimate user. He has to, with the help of some algorithm, we used to have a third party where that third party will assure certain properties that whether the data has been exchanged properly. So here in this lecture we have learned about what is security attack, what is security mechanisms, what are the security services. So after analyzing everything, as I told you, International Telecommunication Union have framed a standard, universal standard for the securities. Okay. So if there is any query, please ping me to praylashyry.csc@satyabama.ac.in. Thank you.